basically we're going to be using the blocks to give really good feedback of how we activate the shins hugging in, and then the upper thigh block, we're trying to widen the thighs away from it. So we put the upper thigh block at that thick part and the calf at the thick part. Adjust the feet maybe a little bit. See, it's maybe a little bit more than, because I'm just adjusting myself to the block. It's fine. Toes go up. So I want you to be able to see my legs close up from here. Okay, so I put my hands on my hips just to keep my upper body more stable, shoulders back, get nice posture. Make sure I'm not doing anything wonky with my feet. Keep the feet very nicely lined through the second toe. Lift and spread the toes. Ground the big toe ball mounds, inner heels, baby toe, outer heels. Balance. Now sometimes even after you've done the arches lifting, so I'm going to collapse this arch just so you can see how it's more down, and if I lift my toes, it's slightly, so I might have to say to somebody, lift this arch a little bit more, not to the point where it's going like that, but just so it's not a little bit less lifted than the other. You want them to be evenly lifting through the ankles. Squeeze into the block. When you squeeze in the block, the upper thigh muscles will grip and you'll feel them on the bones, on the block. You'll feel the muscles engaged. But now what you try to do is keep hugging there and then try to move the inner thighs in, back, and apart. And then you get a deeper arch in your back, and then you keep your thigh bones back from that in, back, and apart, and gently draw the tailbone down and then root into the legs and rise up through the crown of the head. This pose is a cure-all for everything. Almost. Mark my words, this is fabulous. You'll use this a lot. It's posture foundation optimizer, works everything from the ground up. Actually, in a training that I was attending, a woman came in, one of the demonstration models came in with shoulder pain, and we did everything for the shoulder, and it wasn't until we did this exercise that her shoulder pain went away. And it's pretty spectacular. So we want to have the block, and for the upper thighs, narrow, and the wider for the shins. So we'll put that in the upper, thickest part of the belly of the muscle, and the same thing with the shins. And then we can have our hands on the hips just to help to stabilize the upper body. So we go through the same things. Now because of the block, we may or may not be exactly 2 fists, but you're accommodating the block and you just make that a nice, comfortable, snug fit. And then we go through the same things. We make sure the middle ankle, second toe are parallel lines. And then we lift the toes up and spread them apart. Ground into the big toe ball mounds. Ground into the inner heels. And then reach to the baby toe ball mounds. And then back to the outer heels. And then micro bend the knees, like not micro, but bend the knees actually a little bit into a squat. And then we make sure throughout this that the knee, second toe, everything's aligned. And then you're slowly, and elbows back to help wrap the shoulder blades back, keeping a nice neutral spine. And then you're slowly bending your knees. And then slowly straightening. Try to do it more from bending from the knees than from the hips, kind of. And almost as straight with a micro bend. Yeah, so you're bending both into like 90-degree angles and then coming up and using your breath. So you're inhaling up on a 5 count and then exhaling down 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4. The slower you go, the more you're going to be using deeper, finer muscles closest to the bone. And if you go through it quicker, you're using more superficial, habitual muscles. This is going to retrain everything. So let's do it a couple more times. We'll have you turn from the side so they can see. So she's keeping her posture up here nice and neutral. Low back curve is in, shoulders are back, head is back. And then she's gradually bending and keeping the arches of the feet lifting and keeping the knee tracking over the second toe. And then just going to a nice comfortable, she's very flexible, so maybe your clients don't go quite that low. And you want to go almost as straight, but still have a micro bend in the knee, so they're not locking out the knee joint. And so the muscles continually fire the whole time. And the more you're squeezing the block, so you're hugging the block and trying to widen your thighs at the same time shins in, thighs out, which is going to be very therapeutic for the knees and retrain the whole musculoskeletal pattern all the way up. And then you can take a break, and I'm sure that's pretty intense. And that is good for so many conditions. I use this almost for everybody that has any kind of issue. So give it a go and see how fabulous it feels. And then when you walk around after, you'll feel your body and your posture and your gait, how you walk, everything is going to feel transformed.